morning, Den of Nerds family. Welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. Chet, turn the music up. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. On today's show, we are talking all about the High Republic Project Luminous announcement that happened last night. We had a awesome community stream going on last night. We're talking about DC. Meanwhile, Star Wars dropping all this cool stuff about High Republic Project Luminous. We're going to do a full breakdown of that. We're going to go to the theater. We're going to watch the trailer. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about everything that was mentioned. We're going to talk about some stuff that wasn't mentioned. It's going to get pretty juicy, folks. So that is what we are doing today. We'll save some time for Q&A at the end of the show as well. I want to say good morning to everybody that is in the chat. I see you guys coming in. I see Gray. I see James, Hector, Trevor, Deadweight, Wayne White, Dan the Man, Internet Sato, Wavy Dave Topic. Justin's here. Lots of good stuff. Lots of beautiful faces here to start this stream out. Are you guys hyped? Let me know right away. Let me know right away. I want to know in chat. Did you see some of the stuff from Project Luminous and the High Republic? Are you hyped? Are you amped? Are you meh? Are you like, eh? Wherever you're at with it, I would really like to know. Let me know where you are at with it. Dan the Man is conflicted. That's cool. Hey, look, it's all good. It's all good. Wayne White says high and hyped. Woo! High and hyped is a good combination. One of my favorite combinations, got to be honest. Oh, yeah. Star Wars Santa in the building. A lot of good buzz here. Lot of good buzz. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Books all pre-ordered. Woo! Comic book, says Captain Pennsylvania. I thought something else. I'm more on the hyped side, says Star Wars Santa. Well, I don't think you need to, guess when it comes to me, guys. I am pretty stinking hyped when it comes to Das Star Wars and the High Republic. But I want to tell you something before we get into the theater, before we get started here, guys. I need to just say something. I need to get something off my chest. Chat, pause the music. Okay. Now, this comment is not aimed at anyone in this chat room. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. I can't see into your heart. I don't have the powers of Star Wars Santa. Oh, we got a super chat coming in from Jason. Says, driving while listening and chat when I can. Hype, says Jason. Look, I'm going to be completely real with you guys. I got to say something here. My hype for this news era of Star Wars is at least matched by my frustrations and anger with a lot of the Star Wars fans and the Star Wars community. Okay? As I was looking at some of my contemporaries' coverage of the announcement last night, as I was looking at people tweeting, and as I was looking at people commenting on Reddit and different things like that, man, I gotta tell you, I'm starting to get pissed off. I'm so pissed off, in fact, that I thought about, okay, should we do a rant? Should we go into the rant? I was like, no. I knew if I would have ran this by the producers would have been like holding me back, like, don't do it, don't do it. If I went into a segment right now and just spilled how I was feeling about the Star Wars fandom and about some of my contemporaries, I would say some shit that I would regret. I promise you. I can't fucking stand how some of this shit is going. Okay? So, I got to be real with you guys. It's a weird day. It's a weird day for me because I'm feeling really good. And I'm sure there are people out there, which, by the way, like, some people that maybe don't know or aren't that hyped about it for whatever reason. Totally fine. You don't have to be hyped about it. But the way these people angle shit, one thing on a whiteboard, diversity written on a whiteboard, and you're going to flip the switch and call this all more identity politics, more of the same. I can't fucking stand it. I got to be honest with you. There's some, look, let me explain. Let me just say, I'll just say one little thing. Let me just give you a taste. This is why I can't even really go into this, okay? Nah, I can't even say it. I want to say some shit that would. I'm telling you right now. Let me just say this. I'll say it this way. I'll say it in the nicest way I possibly can. I grew up in martial arts studios. Okay, my father is a martial artist. I've been inundated with combat sports. I've been on the mats. I've been, look, this face used to be a lot prettier. This nose looks the way that it does for a reason. Okay? And I used to do a thing back in the day where if it really got heated between some of these people, we could sign waivers. We'd sign waivers and we'd get on the mats. And I'm going to leave it at that because I'd love to get my hands on some of these people. And I got to be careful because I'm not even supposed to be saying this. This is ridiculous. I can't believe when I look at this video in the future, I'm going to be like, dude, you were out of control. That is so ridiculous. Why would you take it to a physical level? That is so immature. But I'm just going to be real with you. That's what I'm feeling in my gut. I want to put my hands on some people. What was that, Chet? A little too much? Okay, no, let's take it. Put some music on. Let's get into the theater. Everybody get into the theater. Let's ignore how angry Josh is about this, and let's just get into the theater. Let's enjoy the Star Wars stuff together. And let's not think about how bad I want to fuck some people up. Anyway. We got to pause this. Chet, everything's falling to shit. Now we got the music playing. We don't need the music playing. Everybody get into the theater. Everybody trickle in. Come on into the theater. No, it's cool. No, I'm not even that upset. It's all good. Come on in. No, I was clowning. Have a seat. Come on in. Guys, that's crazy. Why would I do that? But you know what? Just to be honest with you, though, you know how YouTubers do actually fight and get into sanctioned fights? Oh, my God, I would love to do that. Now, if they actually looked into my background, they wouldn't let me do that, per se. But, oh, my God, I would love that. That would be huge, right? I mean, that would get a lot of views, right? Let them know. I'm open to it. All of them. Anyway, let's get into this right now. We're going to watch and react, folks, to the official trailer announcement for Project Luminous and the High Republic. Maybe some of you have seen this. I've seen it, but you know what? I want to see it again. And I want to pause it and react to different parts. Okay, is everybody sitting down in the theater? Is everybody comfy? Does everybody have their popcorn? Okay, here we go. How's the audio? Turn it up a little. But a frightening new adversary threatens. The High Republic. We called it.
We're finding ourselves at a very exciting moment. The Skywalker saga coming to an end. We're at a place of what's next for Star Wars. One of the things we've always done is be able to use.
Okay, here's what's really interesting. I've actually heard some stuff about this gentleman right here. This guy right here. Really smart dude. Very in touch with what's going on. It's cool to see him. When I saw his name pop up here, I was actually really surprised because I was actually just talking about this specific gentleman with some people with regards to some other stuff. But yeah, this dude's the real deal.
Franchise platforms to explore the creative potential in the Star Wars galaxy. And so what if publishing was more of an incubation place and bring in great talent and just
what if publishing was an incubation phase? That is a fascinating statement. What if it was an incubation phase? I think that's really important. And we'll get into this in a second. Many of you have already heard my thoughts about this as far as what I think they should be doing with the talent that they have, because they have some of the most talented people out there working on this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you for the support. I'll check that out in a second, okay?
Their imaginations roam free.
Skywalker Ranch.
We put put together a really unique writer's room where we had diverse voices with very different opinions about Star Wars.
We all love Star Wars, but we're all coming at it from very different places.
This has been a very...
It sounds, I mean, this looks awesome, man. And by the way, people have looked in and kind of picked apart all of these different things on that. We'll get into some of that stuff as well. But overall, I love the idea. Like, I was always fascinated. I don't know about you guys, but I was always fascinated when hearing about these creative retreats, right? These retreats that all of these people go on with, like Marvel Comics or DC Comics, the editorial retreats where they all just brainstorm and come up with stuff and get this stuff out there. You know what I mean? Oh, it's fantastic stuff. And they literally just said, right, that they brought in these brilliant writers and just kind of allowed them to create within here. And it's an incubator because they're going to take what works best or what the best stuff is from this, and we're going to bring it up to the silver screen. You know what I mean? We're going to potentially farm it for video games, movies, television shows, and stuff like that, okay?
free environment for everybody to just throw things out there.
We've all done lots of storytelling, but this is unique and really special.
The idea that this thing is...
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a darn tootin' minute.
We've all done lots of storytelling.
Wait a minute. Diversity? 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 Moving on.
The idea that this thing has been simmering for so long.
It's the secret history of the galaxy.
Yep, it goes way back to the beginning of Star Wars.
We gave them essentially a blank slate. What would you like to tell?
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice.
A line that we've been hearing since 1977, and we thought, what does that look like?
It is a golden age where there's much more peace and calm.
Golden age.
So we're calling it the High Republic.
The description that we've used for the Jedi of this era is that they are the Jedi Knights of the Round Table.
Jedi Knights of the Round Table. Very
But
fucking
Star
cool.
Wars isn't just about Jedi, and we will tell stories of new smugglers, new scoundrels, new bounty hunters.
The threat and the tension really comes from the Republic's borders, because the Republic does not extend from one side of the galaxy.
Pablo with the mutton
It's a bit
chops.
of a Wild West new frontier. We see a different kind of Jedi that patrols the frontiers and is more of...
Do you notice how, look at this. You might think that's a gun. That's a lightsaber. But could it be a gun lightsaber combo? Also, this kind of looks like Lawrence Fishburne. I'm digging it.
a Texas Ranger.
That's the
We're
cover of the
now
Claudia
bringing
Gray
in
novel.
Concept artists, illustrators, and visualists, the same way that you would when you're making a movie.
We even had Ian McKay come down and just do sketch after sketch for us. When you have the guy who designed the look for Darth Maul,
Yeah.
Jedi for you, it doesn't get any cooler than this.
The scale of this initiative is really new for us. We're going to have stories for...
Yo, this chick is actually, I've heard about this chick too.
Jedi for you. It doesn't get any
Where's she
cooler
at?
than
Where's she
this.
at? Where's she at? Where's she at?
The scale of this initiative is really
Jenny.
new.
Yeah, Jennifer Headley. I heard about her as well. I've heard some good things about Miss Jennifer here. She gets my stamp of approval from what I've heard.
For us. We're going to have stories for adults and teens and kids.
We're building this out simultaneously across multiple...
Yo, okay, so that's really interesting. We're going to talk about that.
Village-
This is basically like, and this gets mentioned later on as well, but this is only phase one. This is only phase one of what this is all going to be. And they're going to roll this out into all kind of different mediums across all sorts of different publishing lines. It's really, really going to tie it together very nicely. And we're only seeing phase one, so that's really interesting.
Across multiple publishers. It gives us the ability to tell vast, interconnected stories across multiple years. There will be a core group of heroes that will expand over time. There'll be villains.
Yeah, the
Our
Nile.
main villain are the group called the Nile. We kind of like to refer to them as Space Vikings.
Their
Space
motto is,
Vikings?
"You can't take it with you, but we can take it from you."
They're going to take it from them.
Our story starts with what we're calling the Great Disaster.
Nihilist. I see you, Internet Sato. I see what you're saying.
And there's definitely a series of events that will spin the galaxy into a dangerous new direction, and it'll give the opportunity for heroes to rise up.
The cool thing about this is that there's going to be a story for every Star Wars fan. It's really fun to be able to keep readers on their toes. This era is ripe for storytelling. The eureka moment was the question, what scares the Jedi? And that
What
made us
scares
all go,
the
"Ooh,
Jedi?"
Something wicked this way comes.
Besides the Sith. Boom. Beautiful. I love it. I thought it was a really well put together trailer. It's really cool. I think a couple of interesting things within the trailer. Obviously, getting the concept artists together and bringing back the guy that did Darth Maul. I think that was great. I think the Nile is a very interesting thing, and we're gonna, talk about that a little bit as well. And the first launch of this is going to start with Charles Soule, who has literally been writing, in my opinion, some of the best Star Wars stuff, period, in canon. Okay, so, oh yeah, we need to upgrade the speakers. Was it a little low? Was the audio a little low? Apologies. If it was a little low, let's get back into the chatting room. What do you guys think? What do you think of the trailer? Where's everybody's heads at? Let's see here. Mark Fryer says, forget diversity. Did you see freaking dinosaurs written on the whiteboard? Star Wars dinosaurs? Yes, please. And Jedi splinter factions. Mark, I really appreciate what you're doing there, but it doesn't matter what else is on that board. It doesn't matter that there's a ton of ingenuity, creative juices, story threads, and possibilities, things that we've been wanting to see in Star Wars for a long time. Mark, unfortunately, none of that matters. None of that matters because of that one word they put on there. Diversity. It's diversity, guys. It's woke. It's more Kathy Kennedy Star Wars wokeness. But I mean, that's a good point. That's a fair attempt to be breaking that down and talking about that, Mark. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's all of that. Like Double Blasted Blades, really liked it. Trailer was great. I don't care what anybody else says here. Entitled to your thoughts. Bit for the first time makes me want to buy the books and comics. I'm pretty damn excited for this. It's a direction. Yeah, no, it is. It is a direction. There's a lot of interesting things. Are we still in the theater? What the hell? Chet. I said take us out of the theater and get some music going on, for God's sakes. Something calm, please, so I don't lose my fucking mind. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts today. Happy thoughts, folks. Happy thoughts. That's how we're doing it. You know what, Chet? I need to crank that. If only diversity wasn't on that wall. Just take a second, guys. Get moving. Just let the vibes flow through you. You know what I mean? Just let it hit you. Let the music hit you. Put me on the big screen. Chet, do it. Today's video of Dancing in the Morning brought to you by The Den of Nerds Live. All right, cut it. I'm done. I'm done. Give me back. That was good. That was nice, Chet. Thank you. Thank you. Turn it down. Turn it down. Turn the music down a little bit. Uh-oh, Ryan just walked into this. Ryan just walked into this. This shit actually bumps? Hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does. Okay. Whew. I tell you, look, this is a weird stream. I can fully admit that. But as long as we don't come up on charges by the end of this, we're going to be fine, folks. Okay. So I want to go into some of the other things here, talk about the coverage that came from Alex Damon over at Star Wars Explained. He did sort of like a full breakdown on this, so we're going to go over some of the things that he mentioned. There's also some really interesting stuff on the Reddit, and I want to get into that, okay? So, first of all, they're called the Jedi Knights of the Round Table. Now, this is something that Alex and I actually already broached as far as the subject. if you go back and watch the Star Wars MCU is Coming video, which I highly recommend, it goes into a lot of what was announced, what people were talking about with the High Republic. We were sort of onto this. Jason Ward and I had talked about this a little bit. That Zero.UK article had come out. There was a lot of stuff that was already coming out about this. And by the way, a lot of that stuff is still being sorted, in my opinion. I'm still trying to wrap my head around some of the things I've heard and being like, okay, well, how does that fit into what we just found out last night? But yeah, Jedi Knights, like real knights, like Knights of the Round Table. And it seems to be a crusading vibe. Right, if you look at the designs of these characters, it really looks like a crusading vibe. Now, obviously, they said it was going to be stories for every type of Star Wars fan. I think that means young fans. I think that means older fans. I think that means pretty much everybody except the absolute idiots that focused on one word on that whiteboard and got their panties in a bunch. I think pretty much every type of Star Wars fan except fucking idiots are going to find something to enjoy within the High Republic era, which is great. And honestly, it's really cool that all of this will be in one singular point in history telling stories. You know what I mean? I really like that because, you know, for instance, if you had some young people in your life and they were really into some YA stuff, or who knows, maybe they spin out and do an animated series talking about that sort of stuff, it would be cool to be able to maybe enjoy that with the young people and still have it impact and affect the overall narrative, the overall story. High Republic is set 200 years before the prequels. This was something that a lot of the early reports had actually gotten incorrect. A lot of those reports were talking about 300 to 400 years. Now, speaking on that for just a second, one of the things that Alex and I talked about in that MCU, the Star Wars MCU video, was the fact that the Old Republic is almost interchangeable with the High Republic. Anything past, like, the Phantom Menace is technically Old Republic. I guess, like, 30 years before Phantom Menace is just whatever they're going to call it. Probably High Republic, to be honest with you, or the Age of the Republic or something. But anything that's, like, 100 years before Phantom Menace, all the way back to thousands of years before Phantom Menace, is all Old Republic. The High Republic is the Old Republic. Okay? And so what I'm saying to you is there could still be stories and properties and things that explore periods 300 and 400 years before. For instance, this video game, right? There's this big talk of this video game that's going to tie in to the High Republic era or tie into what Disney is doing with Project Luminous. The Project Luminous people themselves can't confirm. They don't know anything about video games, and if they do, they're not talking about it. But it's possible that the video game takes place 300 to 400 years before the Phantom Menace. You know what I mean? The film could take place maybe before the High Republic era that's being told right now in that 200-year period. I believe Luminous, and I believe what they're going to do next in the next phases is all going to tell a singular story moving out from that time period. But I think Disney's goal in the next 8 to 10 years of storytelling is broader than that, and it's not all going to tie directly into the storylines being set up by Luminous. They might go back and tell some Revan stuff. I saw people getting upset about the fact that there's no Revan, there's no Old Republic. This isn't the Old Republic. This isn't what we wanted. I think there's still a chance we get Old Republic in the next couple of years, and I think that it's all going to be branded around that same idea, this sandbox that they've now opened and that they are playing at. Now, this is really interesting. It says here, the idea for this massive connected story was pitched way back in 2014. And this was something we recently found out, and it's fantastic. They've literally been working on this since 2014. Literally. And this was a thing where they were like, okay, we're seeing what's going on with what we're doing right now. We're going to adjust. We're going to go back and plan. And we're going to literally do the things that I think most normal people have been most critical about with the sequel trilogy. And that's the lack of planning, the lack of connective tissue, all of that. They're sort of fixing that problem with the way that they're setting it up. But all the way back in 2014, that's pretty wild. That is a long, long time. long time ago. They're all unique stories, not the same story repeated for different ages. That was something that was very much focused on last night, was this idea of new. They want to do stuff that's never before been seen in Star Wars, and that includes the Old Republic. That includes Legends. They're trying to do stuff that has never been seen before, and it seems really interesting. The level of production that went into these stories was reminiscent of film pre-production. Now, that's because, and this is not something that they're talking about, but this is something we know, is because it's all spinning out of the world building that was done in conjunction with Dan and Dave. And I got to tell you, too, and I'll get to this point in a second, I actually think we dodged a huge bullet by the way this all went down. Because really and truly, what have I been saying? If you've been paying attention to my Star Wars coverage over the past couple of years, I've said a lot of stuff like, why isn't Claudia Gray writing movies? Why isn't Claudia Gray more involved with the direction of Star Wars moving forward? The actual direction of Star Wars. Why isn't Charles Soule more in the driver's seat with what narratively should come next with Star Wars? Well, it looks like that is exactly what is happening here. But what my gut is telling me with some of the things that I know is that this was always going to happen, but that Dan and Dave's stuff was going to predate much further. Dan and Dave's stuff could have been 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 1,000 years ago. Dan and Dave's series of films and that world building, I think, spins out from a much, much further back date. But because they're not actively developing anymore, and because Luminous is now the only game in town with what's going on in this era, I think we have this beautiful opportunity now where these great writers are actually going to set the stage for many of the things that will now come next. With the film people, whoever they sign, the big name, whoever they get, will have to work within the confines of whatever these writers and artists and people that created this that they did. And I think that's fantastic. Like, honestly, fantastic. The Nile are the main villains. They're very different than the Empire and the First Order. Space Vikings, that's really cool. Charles Soule says something about how they're able to use hyperspace in a very dangerous way, but that's all we know. The first book will be called Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. Maverick Pilgrim already has that pre-ordered. I got to get on that. There's a Wookiee Jedi. Buryaga Agathuri. That sounds dope. Wookiee Jedi, why not? I'm into it. We're going to see the Great Disaster. Something terrible is going to happen at the beginning of the novel. This would be Charles Soule's novel, which essentially kicks off. Chet, this music has a chorus, and I can't focus on what I'm reading. Thank you. So there's going to be this big catastrophe that opens up at the beginning of the novel. My gut tells me it will have something to do with their travel and with those stations, those light stations, which I think are sort of supposed to guide them through hyperspace lanes and things like that. I think those will all be like assaulted or something by the Nile. The Nile will like destroy those or destroy a set of those, because Pablo Hidalgo said a lot of the conflict here is going to come at the border of the Republic. The Republic does not stretch from one end of the galaxy to the other. A lot of unknown space, a lot of unconquered space, I guess, from the Republic, and that is going to be where most of the conflict will happen. Let's see here. A Test of Courage is a middle grade book by Justinary Land. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The main character is a 16-year-old Jedi, says there's more serious than her previous stories. That's cool. That's cool. High Republic comic will be coming from Kevin Scott that will center on the Starlight Station. That's it, the Starlight Station. I think that's what the big catastrophe is going to be. Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. Literally, all you need to know is that it's Claudia Gray. It's going to be good. We're going to read the crap out of it. And we're going to learn a lot more between now and August 25th. Okay, I think this sounds fantastic. There's a lot of really cool stuff in that announcement. I'm really interested in what they're doing. I personally think this is really good. This is a good direction. However, there's a lot that they're not saying, right? I think one of the things they're not saying, but that is like the worst kept secret right now, is that this will be connected to whatever the movies end up being in 2022, 2024, and 2026. Now, that is not to say that these characters will all be in those movies, but the principles and the ideas established in this era, in the High Republic, that is going to be carried over in all of what they're doing next. And I love the phrase that they're going to treat it as an incubator. What that means is they're probably going to test the waters, see what resonates with people, see what people like, and then they're going to go from there. And they're going to focus on that stuff in the future, whether it be video games, whether it be movies, or what not. Yeah, the Justice League satellites, yeah, they look a lot like it. But yeah, that's guys, that like I said, we've been kind of talking about this for a while. We knew this was coming, but we got a big old announcement yesterday. I was talking to people and we were like, I don't know what we're gonna get. I don't know what to expect, but I really hope it's more than just confirming what the internet had already been talking about. And to me, this was way more than that. We got a ton of great art. We got a ton of great insight into how this has all been working. A ton of really interesting looking characters. There's going to be so many Jedi. I mean, come on, guys. What have I been saying for so long? Where's the Jedi? Where are more of the lightsabers? Why wouldn't you have more of the lightsabers? You know? I saw some people talking about that. They were like, well, took them 8 years to figure it out. But yeah, people like lightsabers. And that's fair. You know what I mean? As much as I get irritated by what I see going on with Star Wars fans, I do think a lot of criticism is fair. And look, the sequel trilogy was what it was. I get it. I get where people are at with it. My problem is more in the angling and just the grift, man, and just some of the bullshit that I see that's coming out with all of that. So yeah, all that stuff's kind of irritating to me. They're saying no movie tie-ins. But yeah, so, okay, Jacobs. What they're saying is that Project Luminous, there's no movie tie-ins. Like, they're saying that, like, this is not... And this is probably why they did the announcement sort of hidden. It's probably why they did the announcement not live streamed and stuff. They're trying to, like, get away from that perception. And ultimately, I think that's because if this doesn't resonate well, of course, they're free to not make these movies. But I'm telling you right now that I know for a fact that this is all connected, that this is connected to what Dan and Dave was working on.
We know anything. Feels like everything we've been wanting and crying for lol.
Yeah, totally. Did you guys hear the what Robot Voice super chat says? Because I totally agree. But yeah, I know StarWars.com is saying there's no movie tie-ins, but that just means, like, there's not... And you have to understand, like, I'm not saying that Lucasfilm is going to take, like, these characters and literally be like, okay, this is the movie for this is the most popular character from the incubation phase. This is going to be a film. No, but what I'm saying to you is whatever they do next with the films is going to adhere to the boundaries that are created right now. What is being created right now with Luminous and the High Republic in canon is going to be the canon. And that era is the era that Disney is very interested in as far as making their future films. Also, there was a front row saved. Alex, one of our producers, pointed this out to me. Alex pointed out that Disney Imagineers had like a whole row at this announcement. And I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how things go, if over the next couple of years they rework Batuu to be a planet within the High Republic and to really fill that in and have that in the High Republic. But I think what they're saying on the StarWars.com article about no film tie-ins, they're trying to curb expectations. They're trying to stop people from drawing all of these lines and comparisons and getting hyped up about it. I will reach out to sources and do my due diligence. But I'm telling you right now that I've already talked to people about this, and no, like, it is connected. It is connected. There, depends on what they say with tie-ins. There's not a movie coming out for 2022, but I wouldn't be surprised if that movie takes place in the High Republic era. That is what is on the plan. The High Republic people, the Luminous people, probably not connected to that officially. But it's all in the same house. These are all assets, and the story group knows what it is and where the story's going. So, that is what it is. Renee says, I love that they are getting everyone to work on a cohesive story. If only they did that with the sequel trilogy. 100%. 100%, man. 100%. Agree. Ryan Bassett And this was the one that came in and activated our little robot. As I do think diversity can suppress story, but seems dumb to be critical before we know anything. Feels like everything we've been wanting and crying for. Yeah, 100%. But the thing about that is, Ryan, it is everything we've been wanting and crying for, but it doesn't matter because of one word on a whiteboard. Probably the worst word in the English language. Makes me sick. More of the same. So yeah, look, potentially great. Potentially everything Star Wars fans have been wanting for. Old Republic 2.0, really new, interesting stories. Space Vikings versus a bunch of conflicting, separating sects of Jedi. All of these really interesting and fascinating things, but it doesn't matter. Diversity. Diversity. But thank you for the support, Ryan. I really do appreciate that. What's up? Norrin Rad's in the building. Loving the live stream format. Yeah. Might as well call this the Den of Diversity. We gotta be careful there. Josh is woke as hell, says the Godfather. What year is the newest movie coming out? 2022. Oh, is the music blasting you guys right now? My bad. Sorry. I just want you to be able to hear the robot. You know what I mean? Right now we have the music and the robot all coming out of the same thing. Sorry if I was blasting you with those tunes. That's Chet's fault. But yeah, let's get into some Q&A, guys. I want to know what you're thinking. We can get into Q&A. Probably go for like 10 more minutes. I'm going to cut the stream a little bit early today. I have to work on like a full detailed breakdown video of that, about this and about what's not in this announcement as far as how it will tie into the movies and things like that. So yeah, let's get into a little Q&A. Watch Red Sun. Yeah, Trev, literally, it's crazy. We were talking last night about DC and what they should do. You know what I mean? Really interesting chat. I felt like it was great. And we talked a little bit about, towards the end of it, we talked about the animated universe. Bruce Timm and the animated stuff. And we're like, how is it that they nail the animated stuff so well with DC, but they can't seem to get the live action stuff figured out? And believe it or not, the newest animated DC movie, Red Sun, drops today. I'm excited. I am excited. Josh, are you disappointed at all in the announcement? No, I'm not disappointed at all in the announcement. Now, granted, I think that's because I kind of knew it was coming and I knew what was going on. But no, I'm not disappointed at all. Like, I saw some people disappointed because it's not Old Republic. But it technically is Old Republic. Like, the Old Republic is this vast area of time, right? It technically is Old Republic. Okay? And then I saw people get upset that it's comics and books and stuff, and it's not like movies and shows. Look, that's so weird to me. We knew we weren't getting movies until 2022. What did you expect? An announcement that about Project Luminous, which was announced at Celebration to be a multimedia thing between books and novels and comic books, and you expected it to be about movies and shit too? Like I said, I'm really trying today, guys. This is not, I'm not at my best. I'm not at my best today. Yeah, Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 Tuesday. I know. We fucked it up, Godfather. We fucked it up. We fucked it up. I had totally forgot about Top 5 Tuesdays, to be honest with you. All I could think about was the announcement last night. An X-Men MCU Monday stream would be dope. Yeah, that would be cool. I saw the Kotaku report about the canceled Star Wars game. Yes, I did. I thought about covering it. But I don't really think there's too much there. I mean, that's not even that big of a story. Like, the truth was that was the Visceral game that then EA decided, hey, let's take these assets and let's move it to the Vancouver studio, and they will poop out a game for the holiday season in 2020 for the new generation of consoles. And then the studio was like, well, we can't actually get a game done that has no concept in a year, so we won't hit that date. And then EA was like, oh, well, we really don't care about an actual good Star Wars game coming out. We just needed a Star Wars product, lifeless, horrible Battlefront 2 version 1 vanilla type game for 2020 because we're just looking at cash checks, baby. We're just looking at cash checks, baby. And the developers were like, nah, bro, that ain't happening. And EA was like, well, yeah, no, cancel it completely because we're not interested in actually making that game. But yeah, not really a big story in my opinion. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it is Tuesday. I think what I'll do, it's tough. It's tough to say for sure. I want to do the top 5 that I did last week because like I totally fucked up and forgot that people on the regular channel didn't even see that video. Only like 500 people saw that video before like it got blasted into oblivion for copyright stuff, right? So maybe I'll just do another version of the scenes from last week, post that later today on the main channel, and tell people we'll do a new poll for next week and apologize and get back to it. Yeah, EA bad. EA bad. Let's see. Is it going to activate? Did the voice thing go through? No? I know it's a little bit delayed sometimes. I'm super confused. Still got to tweak this super chat thing. I don't understand why it's not working. It worked for the $20, but it didn't work for this $10. I don't know. I'm confused. We'll get it sorted out, though. James Heaton, thanks again for the support, brother. I appreciate it. Morning, Josh. Can we please just get a movie trilogy based on Patton Oswalt's filibuster from Parks and Recs? That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. It would be really cool, though, if somebody just did an animation of that over his filibuster, like an animation. And maybe that already exists. The internet is a really interesting place, for sure. So maybe that already exists. But, yeah, that would be dope. I'd love to see an animation about it. Josh, if you take the first letter of all the lists on the whiteboard in the trailer, it spells out the Fandom Menace sucks. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yeah, we're referring to the 4chan trolling of the Fandom Menace. I don't know if you guys know about that. That is a hilarious story. That story is actually a week old. It's just now making its way to me. It's very interesting. But I got to be honest with you, I don't even want to go there today because I'm so upset that, again, I'll say some shit that I regret. All I'll say is I watched people online, like, defending guilty parties in that scenario, and it made me literally lose a lot of faith in humanity. I was like, Jesus Christ, really? This is how people are responding? Jesus Christ. Like, honestly, like, we're calling it early today because I'm nervous. I'm nervous that I'm going to say some... Nah, I can't release the anger. Not today. Not today. Because this isn't playful anger. Nah. This isn't playful anger. This is not good anger. This is toxic anger, by definition. I'm trying to keep it together here, folks. Trying to keep it together. Star Wars fans, why? Why are you the worst? Why are you the worst? I don't understand. Can't do it. Can't let it out today. Can't do it. Everybody's so bloodthirsty, though. They want me to just go there. Josh, do you think people are reading less and just want more visual entertainment? Yeah, that's probably true. But here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. Star Wars kind of realized when they looked back, because they did a lot of interesting, they've got all the data, right? They've got all the data. That's why they were trying to curb people's expectations for the box office of Rise of Skywalker. I remember reporting about that. And people were like, you're crazy, Josh, you're crazy. I was like, look, if I can see it in the data, I know for sure Disney can see it in the data, right? They pay people to figure that out in the data, right? So they also have the data that in an age with sort of dying industries, they had some of the most popular comic books of the last decade. Star Wars comic books are selling damn well. They also have some of the most popular books of the decade. And so it's crazy because, you know, some of the important lessons to learn within Star Wars, if you can take the negativity, you know, out of your brain and just look at it for what it is, Star Wars moved comic books at an unprecedented rate. They have some of the biggest comic books of the decade, of the last 20 years, honestly. And they've had some of the best-selling novels in the YA genre, in just general fiction. They've had some of the best-selling novels. Basically, guys, they're fucking killing it in a lot of different ways. And so it was a no-brainer for them to do something to add even more value to the comics and to the novels, to bring people in and to really get them excited about the prospects of the future for those things. They're already killing the game in the books. They're already killing the game in the comics. And so it just made sense. Let's pump that up. Let's amp that up. And let's use it as a creative incubator for future projects in live action. You know? So that's where we're at. Who the hell is WizKid, and why should I care that he's in Shang-Chi? Only because he's a mutant. Because, again, there's another mutant probably going to be in Shang-Chi. I don't think that's as much of a shock, though, as the rumors about Omega Red and the Madripoor thing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, Madripoor's a pretty big deal. Omega Red's a pretty big deal. His ties to a Russian version of the Weapon X program, pretty big deal. The fact that that could tie into Black Widow, pretty big deal. WizKid is just another mutant. And I think he's Asian. Yeah, he might be. I'm not sure. I don't even know who the character is. I just know that he's a mutant. Would you say the new canon books are better than Legend books? Some of them are, for sure. Some of them are. I think Lords of the Sith is one of the best Star Wars books ever. But Plagueis is phenomenal. You know what I mean? Plagueis is phenomenal. That's old. The Dawn of the Jedi books, some of the John Jackson Miller Old Republic books, they're fantastic. So I don't know if I could say they're better. Some of them certainly are. The thing about the EU that nobody, like all the EU people don't like to admit, is that a lot of it was crap. Like a lot of it was just garbage. 30% of it was fantastic. And there's a lot of fantastic stuff in Legends. You know, the Heir to the Empire series is phenomenal. It really is. The novelizations of the prequels are phenomenal. You know what I mean? Lost Stars. Grey Dawn is right. Lost Stars is phenomenal. I love Lost Stars so much, I'm buying and reading the manga adaptation of Lost Stars. It's great. So that's kind of a tough question, right? It's a nuanced question. Do I think they're better? Some of them are. I'll tell you this. I personally like the idea of it all actually being canonically connected. Legends was all over the place. I liked a lot of those stories, but they're all over the place. The fact that this is all put together better, I'm a fan of. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. I hope that answers that question. Phoenix Knights Flame says, what exactly was garbage in the EU? I always hear that people claim the majority of it is garbage, but never actually hear what parts are garbage. That's because most people read the good shit. Nobody's going to go out and get told, yeah, this was garbage, you should read it. You know what I'm saying? Most people have only read some of the best stuff in the EU. The EU was technically everything that wasn't Star Wars movies. There's a lot of it. I want to know when the Jedi went from beautiful decorative robes to homespun simple ones. Yeah, who knows? Yeah. When someone recommends the EU, they always recommend the same 20 or so books. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I apologize for the weird stream. I'm hyped. Look, here's the problem. My hype level last night, high. High level of hype. I'm very excited about what's going on. But my rage level with the Star Wars fandom is literally just as high, if not higher, than my hype level. That's not good. I'm going to go chill out. I'm going to go chill the fuck out for a little bit before I make my video. Because I'm not in the best mood, and I do apologize. So, how was your day? We're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging on out here in the morning stream of the Den of Nerds Live. Look for a thorough breakdown of everything in the announcement, everything that was not in the announcement, and the stuff that I want to talk about with regards to High Republic on a video later today on the main channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. I really wish that James Heaton's chat got read by the voice thing. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll try to figure it out. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.